Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. Today, we're going to be talking about James Harden, right? We're going to be talking about James Harden. As you know, the Clippers just recently got eliminated by the Denver Nuggets in a blowout game in Game 7. And going into that game, there were a lot of high expectations for James Harden, particularly because of his history in Game 7s. James Harden has had this reputation of being a guy that always disappears in Game 7s, right? And some people felt like if James Harden were to come into this game, step up, deliver for the Clippers in Game 7, it could really kind of revamp his image. So they went into that game in Game 7, and the only player that seemed to show up that game was Kawhi Leonard. He was the only one that seemed to put up a fight. And James Harden in that game ended up finishing the game scoring 7 points on 2 of 8 shooting. 7 points. 7. And of course the Clippers lost. I'm even hearing this morning that James Harden refused to speak to the media after the game, because I'm assuming he was just absolutely embarrassed by his lackluster performance there in the playoffs. So this morning I was like, what are we going to talk about? So I asked Mitch, I'm like, Mitch, man, what do you got for me? So he sends me over this audio of Kobe Bryant when he had a sit down with Rachel Nichols and Tracy McGrady. And there was a part where he was talking about James Harden. And then I was like, okay, that's interesting. Then I opened up the Instagram. By the way, if you guys are not following us on Instagram, our handle is the same name as the channel, Dreamers Pro. And if you're not following me on Instagram, my handle is CTABANZ. Make sure you go follow me. And other people are sending me the same clip. So I'm like, well, okay, let's talk about it today. So I then quickly looked for the clip, and I saw Kobe Bryant basically explaining how James Harden could never win a championship with his style. So what I want to do now is going to play exactly what Kobe had to say about some of the flaws in James Harden's game, and then we're going to come back and react to what Kobe had to say. Take a listen to that there.
James Harden, of course, crazy streak this season. What do you think of what he's doing right now?
Well, I think I'm not a fan of in terms of winning championships. I don't think that style is ever going to win championships. But at the same time, you have to keep your team's head above water to win games. So you have to do what you have to do to win games, and he's doing that, right? Now, I think...
So are you saying you don't think James Harden and the Rockets, as constructed, can win a title?
Not with this style of play, it won't win, right? With one player dominating the ball. Now when you have Chris Paul come back and you have more movement to the offense, where you move guys around, where you're harder to find.
And Chris Paul's back, but you mean more in the...
Yeah, because listen, if you take one player, you put him at the top of the key, or you put him on the wing, and you're running screen rolls, you're always in front of the defense. Mm-hmm. The defense can key on that, particularly in the playoffs. And that's easy to defend. Yeah. It's easy to defend. Now, what he's doing is absolutely remarkable, though. And I think it's a testament to how remarkable it is, because people are now trying to minimize what it is that he's doing. I mean, he's doing some phenomenal stuff.
So you heard what Kobe had to say. What are my thoughts about this look? James Harden was a player that I never really paid much attention to, but these playoffs I did pay close attention to him. And what I noticed about James Harden's game and why there's a drop-off in the playoffs is this. During the regular season for years, James Harden has been able to live at the free throw line because of his ability to draw ticky-tack fouls, his ability to draw fouls on those step-back threes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So he's been able to generate, he's been like a point generator. He's been able to generate a lot of offense and points for himself. But in the playoffs, it's a different ball game. One, teams can play more physical. They can crowd you a lot more, make you uncomfortable. So you have to play through a lot of physicality. And if you notice, a lot of these playoff games, James Harden was getting stripped a lot. And he was turning over the ball a lot because of the allowed aggressiveness. Number two, James also struggled because he wasn't getting those ticky-tack fouls. There are many times, just go back and look at some of the games in the series, where James would drive to the basket, they wouldn't call it. He would try to do a step-back three, bait the defender, they wouldn't call it. And whenever his game begins to suffer like that, he just essentially turns into a passer, which is essentially what he does. Let me distill it down even further. James Harden's regular season stats earned him a all-star position selection rather. He averaged 22.8 points per game on 5.8 rebounds and 8.7 assists from the floor. Let me tell you his playoff numbers. He averaged 18.7 points per game, so his scoring went down by 4 points on 43% shooting from the field, 36% shooting from the three, which is good, 81% shooting from the free throw line. His rebounds went down from 5.8 to 5.4. His assists went up slightly from 8.7 to 9.1, and that's because of that game that he had. But his overall plus minus in the playoffs was minus 3.3. Right? So me having an opportunity to watch Harden's game this playoffs closely, I noticed that he struggles because he wasn't able to draw fouls. Now, let's kind of unpack what Kobe was saying. Kobe was saying that your style of play, where you're basically in front of the defense all the time, it makes it a little bit easier for you to guard, for them to key in on you. And when you're the focal point of the offense, they can just put all of their attention on you, right? This is true. Now, there are some players that have been able to beat that style of play. LeBron James comes to mind. LeBron, for the vast majority of his career, was the one running the show, and the defense was always keyed on him. But LeBron had some physical attributes that allowed him to deal with these things better. LeBron wouldn't settle for step-back threes. LeBron would put his shoulder into you and drive to the basket. And because of his physicality and his strength, he could play through contact and still get to the cup, right? Harden can't do that. LeBron can. LeBron can finish with contact, right? And won a lot, especially when he was younger, right? And because of his size and his ability to post, it's a totally different ball game. But I do understand what Kobe Bryant was saying. And look, so far, Harden hasn't been able to win a championship. And if I'm being honest with you, I don't see the Clippers winning a championship next season. I just don't, right? Which means that Kobe may ultimately end up being right about the fact that James Harden may never win a championship. You guys know I have been very vocal on the idea of LeBron James leaving the Lakers. I've been very, very vocal about it. And it seems like a lot of people are agreeing with me. Look, folks, Kobe Bryant is my favorite player of all time. All right. I supported the Lakers organization for about 15 to 17 years. And when Kobe retired, I just couldn't support what was going on there with LeBron and his antics and his fan base. I just couldn't do it. But now after 8 seasons, me and a lot of Laker fans that are in recess are ready to come back. It's like, okay, we've waited long enough. We've kind of let you guys have your run at it. You guys ran the building to a certain extent. You ran it into the ground. And it's like, okay, now it's time for you guys to move on and let us just kind of take back control of the organization, and let's just move forward, right? And I kind of reached that point. I got really excited for the team when they signed Luka, because I'm like, wow, they really got the piece to move into the future. But then there seemed to be this thing of, well, LeBron could come back. LeBron could come back. Just this weekend, we did a live where we were reacting to some comments from what's his name? From Rich Paul, right? Rich Paul, LeBron James' agent, where he was essentially talking about, you know, his conversation that he had with LeBron James, where he was like, you know, LeBron, let me see if I can even find it. Rich Paul, LeBron. Let me see if I can even find it. I did a live on it, and it was just absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if I can find it now. But anyway, Rich Paul was just basically saying that, you know, he had conversations with LeBron James, and he was essentially telling them that, you know, you don't have anything else to prove. You don't need to prove anything. Just enjoy your time. You know, new free agents that are coming to sign with the Lakers. You guys are coming to sign, whether you're on a 3-day, a 10-day, a 2-year, whatever it is, you get to relish the opportunity to play with LeBron, and you can tell this to your grandkids and your kids. And I'm like, this is what the Lakers become? Like, it's like an amusement park now. You just come there and sit on Santa's lap, and then all of a sudden you're happy. You go home, you take the. I'm like, this is what it's. I thought you guys, you know, consume with winning. And he's like, LeBron has nothing to prove. You don't need to. It's time to just kind of relax and enjoy yourself. I'm like, is that what Laker fans had in mind after they acquired Luka Doncic, to sit down and relax? And I'm like, no, look, man, this dude it's like, it's time for him to move on. So I came across a segment of Speak featuring Ric Bucher, Paul Pierce, Keyshawn Johnson, I think Joy Taylor was on there, and they were talking about the Lakers and specifically where LeBron James should go next. And Ric Bucher was like, LeBron should possibly look at teams like Dallas or the Knicks. And then he began to give the reasons why he believes LeBron James must leave the Lakers immediately. And I'm like, this guy understands what the problem is. So what we want to do now is we're going to play exactly what Ric Bucher had to say about why he believes LeBron needs to leave the Lakers immediately. And I'm going to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to Rick here.
Yes. What do you want to see LeBron play? I mean, the reality is he's not going anywhere. He's staying in LA. But if I had my choice, if it was going to make things interesting, because the truth is, I don't really care all that much because he's not the LeBron James that was must-see TV all the time. So if I'm going to make this last year or two interesting, then I've got one of two places. Either he goes to Dallas and he reunites with AD and with Kyrie, and he's a player.
You did not just say that.
I said exactly that, and I did not stutter.
Goes to Dallas.
He goes to Dallas, and he's the player coach, and he has AD and Kyrie, and he reunites, and we get to see what that looks. Because that would be entertaining to me.
I'm having hot take classes on Saturday.
I know you are. I saw the flyer outside.
I saw the flyer? Okay.
Or he goes to New York, because New York has wanted him forever, and he's still in a huge market. They finally get their opportunity to have LeBron James. May not be at the time that they wanted him, but I would say one of those two places. Because to your point, the reason why seeing him with the Lakers is just a difficult fit is because you're trying to turn the page and make this Luka Doncic's team.
Yes, that's correct.
You can't fully do that as long as LeBron James is in a Lakers uniform. That's just the reality. It's not his fault. It's just the reality.
But why can't you? If he's
for the same reason that Kevin Durant and Paul George and all these guys never came to the Lakers.
But
because he takes up all the oxygen in the room.
Yeah,
simply because he's LeBron James.
But he took up all the oxygen in the room over the last 19, 20 years.
Okay.
This is we're talking about moving forward in a different time frame. He is now understanding that he's not the same guy. That's why when Luka came, he took somewhat of a back seat.
It's not intentional on his part.
I understand.
It's more the media and the fans. They are consumed with LeBron wherever LeBron is.
I don't think here in LA right now, as we sit today, being a Laker fan and know many people in LA that are Laker fans, we're not consumed with him being LeBron James anymore. That boat has sailed.
So who are you consumed with?
We're Luka.
But you're not going to be fully consumed by him. You can't eat that meal until you move the other one.
The problem is
out of the way.
LeBron will never play a role.
So you heard what Ric Bucher had to say. What are my thoughts about this? He summarized it perfectly. There's a lot that comes with LeBron James. But beyond what he said, I just want to touch on some things. First of all, let's look at it from a basketball standpoint. Help me figure this out. You're telling me if you're the Lakers, you want to keep Luka Doncic. Your pitch to Luka is that we want you to ride into the sunset with a 41-year-old star. We want you to go out there and win championships with a 41-year-old star. As I was reacting to Rich Paul's comments about, LeBron doesn't need to prove anything. He just needs to relax and all of that stuff and just kind of take it easy and enjoy the ride. I'm like, Laker fans, is that what you're in for right now? Enjoying the ride? You got Luka Doncic on the roster so you guys can enjoy the ride. Now, I understand Luka isn't a perfect player. He does have some things that he has to work on. We get that. Every player has something that they need to work on in one aspect or the other. But the Lakers should be in win now mode. You got Luka because you want to seize the opportunity. Luka's 26, 27 years old? And you're telling me that you want to pair Luka Doncic with a 41-year-old LeBron? Is that the plan going to the future? Is that the plan? Number one. Number two, look, he talks about all of the things that come with playing with LeBron, how he sucks all the air in the room. I think that, and I mean this, I think we will notice a major difference with the overall sentiment and energy around the Lakers the day LeBron leaves. Let's just face it, folks. Playing with LeBron means that you're going to be dealing with a lot of drama, a lot of blame deflection, a whole bunch of nonsense. That's kind of been the story of all of LeBron's teammates. Think about this. Luka Doncic has been criticized this season, in just this season, more than he has ever been criticized in his NBA career. And he was only with the Lakers for half a season. He received more criticism in half of a season than he ever did playing with the Dallas Mavericks. Ever. And Luka was an all NBA guy perennially with the Mavericks. He had the second highest scoring average in playoff history with the Mavericks. Just last year, he came from the NBA Finals with the Mavericks. Luka, almost every single year going into the season, he's like a top 3 MVP candidate with the Mavericks. But now all of a sudden he gets to the Lakers and he's chopped liver. Luka has this problem, he has that problem. With all of his weight issues, wasn't it him with his weight that was in the finals last year? Not to say that Luka doesn't need to improve, but let's stop the nonsense. And why do you think that is? Because you have a media that is so transfixed on covering for LeBron, so they always end up blaming either the coach or his teammates. And he always escapes through. So what new player wants to be a part of that nonsense? People act like as if Luka went there voluntarily. No, he didn't. He went there via trade. And if Luka was a free agent this summer, which he's going to be, I don't think the Lakers would have been on his mind. Let's just keep it a buck here. The Lakers would not have been on his mind. But now that you do have him, you need to do everything in your power to ensure that you keep him. And I just don't believe that a Lakers organization is serious. The Lakers organization should be taken seriously if they say, hey, Luka, we know that you want to stay here, but we want to pair you with a 41-year-old going to the future. Now, please take us seriously. You're not serious. It's time for LeBron to move on from the Lakers. It is time. Go somewhere else, anywhere else. Please just move on. Let some of the old fans come back that have been in recession, that have been in recess. And let's just come back and let's start supporting the team. But it's time for you and your fan base to move on. Please, enough is enough. Like, enough is enough. Go somewhere else. You know, there have been some people out there that have been saying that the more LeBron plays and the more that he continues to lose, it's actually pushing him further and further out of the GOAT debate. Now, I think it's important to say that the GOAT debate is a media-created invention. People in reality don't think so. It's just media plants, people scattered all throughout media that go out there and try to make this thing a real debate, and then therefore you have younger, impressionable fans growing up, and they think this thing is a real debate. When in reality, it's just a debate made up of just a bunch of smoke and mirrors. Just a bunch of smoke and mirror. There is no debate from top to bottom. MJ is by far the more superior NBA player, and I don't think it's close. Some people think it's close. I don't think it's close at all. There's nothing that I've seen from LeBron to make me be like, man, this dude might just be what's the thing? What's the thing we're talking about here? What's the thing? What's the thing? What did you see that made you say, oh man, what did you see? What did you see? So look, even just the other day we were doing a live, we were talking about MJ. And we were talking about Anthony Edwards. It's like, reminds me of MJ. I'm like, yeah, kind of, but no. There's nobody like Michael Jordan. Yeah, Kobe played similarly to Jordan during that second three-peat, but that first three-peat Jordan, and when he first got into the end, there's nobody. Nobody. I've watched a lot of Michael Jordan highlights, some in-game footage. There's nobody that played basketball like him. Nobody. Nobody. No one. No one. I haven't seen the person. Right? I haven't seen it. But one of the things that LeBron has been destroyed for throughout his career, and he's been roasted for a lot of things, but one of the things he got really roasted for was that infamous speech he made when he first signed with the Miami Heat, when they had this pre-parade or whatever, pre-championship parade where they really were turning people off, and it was so cringe, where he stood up there on the stage and he said, not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not seven, right? Not 8, because they thought they were going to go on there and win like 6, 7 championships. Well, folks, after he made those statements, not only did they not win 6 championships or 7 or 8, they got absolutely embarrassed in the first year that they went to the NBA Finals. Ultimately, they were able to bounce back and win 2 consecutive championships. So this morning, I was going to the internet, came across a pretty interesting article from Basketball Network saying Michael Jordan took a shot at LeBron James when discussing how many titles would Chicago have won if the 1998 team never broke up. And I'm like, oh, really? Nah. Oh, really? Nah. Okay, so let's get into what this article had to say here. It says, Michael Jordan says they could have won at least one more title if the Bulls didn't break up in 1998. Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls built the dynasty during the 1990s. They completed 2 three-peats during an 8-year span from 1991 to 1998 to establish themselves not only as the best team in a decade, but one of the greatest basketball squads of all time. But successful as the Bulls were during that period, Michael Jordan was still bothered by the fact that they never got to keep the dice rolling and see how far their luck could take them. After achieving a second three-peat in 1998, the Bulls surrendered the Larry O'Brien Trophy without losing on the basketball court by going their separate ways. It was a very sad situation because we never lost in the final, said Michael Jordan in a 2013 interview with his good pal Ahmad Rashad. I never knew what it felt like, at least if you're gonna think I'll be the king of the hill, until somebody knocks you down there. You can shake the hand and say, you enjoy now, you're going to see how difficult it is, but it never happened. The Last Dance, the Bulls entered the 1997-1998 season knowing that it would be their last. Phil Jackson was already told he wasn't going to come back even if they went 82-0, and Jordan declared that he'd rather retire than play for another head coach. And also, Scottie Pippen, controversial contract expired at the end of that year. It then said, and so, despite winning a third straight Larry O'Brien Trophy in 1998, the dynasty team was disbanded, leaving Jordan and the crew thinking about what ifs. Now we have to live the rest of our lives with the idea that we could have won 7, we could have won 8, or we could have won 9. The LeBron thing, but we were halfway there. We could have done all of that, but for whatever reason, it was not meant to be, added Mike, and thus took a dig at LeBron James' statement that the Miami Heat would have won 8 or 9 titles when he assembled the big three there with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, but only managed to win 2. Your man said the LeBron thing. Oh my Lord. That's what he said, the LeBron thing. Well, folks, let's talk about it. Look, this is hilarious. He said the LeBron thing. That pisses off LeBron fans, I know. Which brings me a lot of joy, by the way. But that pisses them off, right? It pisses them off because in their mind, they thought that, look, this is going to be it, man. Not only are we going to get Jordan, we're going to surpass him. And I think they had a rude awakening. I think LeBron fans actually thought that LeBron had including himself, right? He had the tattoo on his body called the Chosen One. I think they really believed that they were going to supplant Michael Jordan. And I think they came to the cold realization that would never happen. I think the moment LeBron realized that was when KD joined the Warriors. And he was like, they're just not going to let me get to 6. Right? They're just not going to let me get to 6. And I think ever since then, LeBron has been trying to do things to convince people. Look, if LeBron James truly believed he was the GOAT, he wouldn't be playing basketball any longer. He wouldn't be. If he believed that he was the greatest player of all time, he would have retired a long time ago. But he is still trying to convince people that he is the greatest player ever. So he's trying to do one thing or the other. Whether it was scoring 40,000 points or this record or that record. But every year he comes back with the realization that people simply don't care. And it must hurt because you're looking at yourself. You're like, bro, I played for 22 years. This guy only played for 15. And the vast majority of NBA fans believe he's better than me still. Think about this. After the Last Dance docuseries dropped, they polled younger fans then in 2020. And almost the full majority went with Jordan. It was ridiculous. They were like, who would you rather have a beer with? It was like Jordan, who has a better, walk. It was just crazy stuff. They were just Jordan. It wasn't even close. Because what the Last Dance docuseries did was it put Michael Jordan highlights into context. It's one thing if you go online and you watch a player's highlights, but you don't know the context that they were in. But once you got a chance to see those plays and his greatness and context in real life situations, you're like, oh my Lord, who's better than this guy? So even young people believe it's still Jordan. So look, man, for Jordan to take that shot at LeBron and call it the LeBron thing is apropos. But the only difference is when Jordan said it, a lot of people believe that he could do it. When LeBron said it, well, you saw the results.